Hey, I'm Nick Williams, and today I'm going to talk to you about telemarketing, specifically offshore telemarketing. Does it work, and how does it work, and what are the issues that people have utilizing offshore telemarketing? First of all, I want to go over what your options are, because offshore telemarketing has different looks, or it has different forms of delivery. First of all, you can buy leads. Oftentimes when you buy telemarketed leads, again, you could buy telemarketing leads, I should say, you are buying offshore sourced telemarketing leads. And they don't hide this or anything, or I say they, the lead vendors that sell these leads aren't hiding this fact, but in fact, these leads often come from the Philippines, a very common source of offshore telemarketing. And you'll pay maybe $15 an hour for these leads. So might be 15, might be more. Sometimes it's less. They usually have specials. So you'll get a special, and then from the special, you then go into the normal cost cycle of the leads. Now you can also buy hours. And when you buy hours, this may cost you something like $12 an hour, $15 an hour. At a bare minimum, $10 an hour. So, not the worst thing in the world, but you're buying hours and somebody else is managing this telemarketer. So let's say you're at $12 an hour here on average on this particular scenario. So it can still be costly, but again, you basically are paying for the hours that the telemarketer is working. You don't know exactly what they're working. You're just under the assumption that they're working these hours based on what is being told to you by the person that you're contracting with, the third party, or the person that is delivering, the vendor that is delivering the leads to you. The connection between you, the agent here in America, and the Filipino telemarketer. Third, which is what I focus on, is offshore telemarketing, where you own the business. The offshore telemarketers, you can contract them for $3 an hour. Now that sounds great, doesn't it? What's the problem? Why wouldn't everybody do this? And the reason is some people just don't want to be hassled, and buying the leads is no big deal for them. You know, they're fine to do it. Or they'll buy the hours, and it's no big deal for them. The problem with offshore contractors, where you are employing the telemarketer, and again, that's what I do. I deliver trained telemarketers to agents. And here's the problem. The agent doesn't communicate effectively with the telemarketer. I would say 75% of the time, that's the problem. There is a second problem, but it stems from the communication issue. So the agent must communicate with the telemarketer every single day. We use video Skype. That's what we promote. I tell agents always, you must talk to the telemarketer every single day. Video Skype every single day. If you don't, they're going to tail off. And when I say tail off, they're going to fade away on you. They're going to stop working hard. They don't know who you are. You don't care about them because you don't talk to them. You form no relationship with them. Therefore, you become irrelevant to them from the standpoint of any type of true commitment. Now, I've had telemarketers, Filipino telemarketers, for years, and that can be a very, very lucrative, very rewarding relationship, but you've got to nurture the relationship. You've got to be there. Okay, think of this. This individual is working for you 40 hours a week. It may be, and probably is, the only individual that's working for you 40 hours a week. Who's the most important person in your business besides yourself, in all likelihood at this point? It's this telemarketer. And yet you don't even call the telemarketer. You don't even say hi to them every day. You have to imagine that they're just in the next office over, and you're just saying hi. And you know what? We live in a remote world now, especially with the COVID virus, that everything is Zoom anyhow. Why would you not? I'll say this: if you had a coworker that was an American, you'd probably communicate with them all the time, every day. That's probably what you would do. You may not video Skype them, but you'd surely be talking to them every single day. You're working on projects together. Well, this person is maybe the backbone of your business, and they're not even communicated with. Now, here's what will happen. Oftentimes, the Filipino telemarketers, they will, and this is proven over time, they will start cutting out on you if you don't communicate with them. They may even do it if you do communicate with them. But they'll stop working all their hours and stuff. Again, you've got to manage that. But here's the thing. You're paying $12 an hour here to buy hours, or $15 for a lead. You could have 2 or 3 telemarketers going here. And I'll tell you something. The successful agents, get this off. These successful agents have certain characteristics, or there's a certain formula. One is they get more than one, so they have more than one agent. So it might be 2 or 3. So they may have 2 telemarketers. So you start with one, and then you get a second one, and then you get a third one. When you have 3 of them, you're locked and loaded. But it depends also if you're selling over the phone or face-to-face. Telemarketing, Filipino telemarketers are great for selling face-to-face. They're, I would say, not as effective for phone sales because you need volume of leads. So it's just hard to produce enough leads. If you had one good telemarketer, that would be enough for face-to-face sales. You only need the one, okay, if they're good. Now, if you're doing phone sales, you may need 3 telemarketers for the phone because you need volume. Because you're sitting and you're making a call, and then it's like, so let's say to get you 5 leads, you get 5 phone calls. If you talk to 2 of the 5 people in the first phone call or the first time around, well, what are you going to do for the rest of the day, right? So you have to have more of them. And if you had 3 of them going, you're basically at $3 an hour, plus you need another dialer. But you can get a second telemarketer and put them on the evening shift, so to speak. So you have one working 8 hours daytime, 9 to 5 your time, and then you have the second one working the 5 to 9, or whatever the allowable calling hours according to your state, because some states have different guidelines. So it does work. But again, there are inherent problems. And we, as a business practice, we do replace the telemarketers if they don't work out, because sometimes they just don't work. But here's when you speak to these telemarketers on a daily basis, you have to correct their language. Okay? Understand that Filipinos speak English. That's their primary language, English. But they speak it with an Asian accent. So they will let words trail on. Like they'll say, hello, something like that. And it's just because that's how they speak. So when you have that daily call with them, you need to correct that language. It's not the language. They speak English. They're educated quite frequently, and many of them have been to college. But they don't sound like they're from America with an accent. They sound like they're from overseas. And that's what gets people. Mom and Pop, when they answer the phone, it's somebody that sounds like they're calling from the Philippines, or sounds like somebody calling from India. So what you have to do is, and we get the telemarketer trained up, but we also will teach the agents how to address their language. So it takes a little while, but let me tell you something, it's worth it. You're talking about putting a little bit of time investing in an individual that can make your business be extremely profitable. They can be the backbone. I have an agency that they started, I guess, about 1 year ago. They've got, I believe it's 8 telemarketers now with me that I provided, and I see the lead flow. They're rocking out leads all day, every day. Now, this is a face-to-face agency. I believe it was the first 2 days of the AEP, they wrote 200 Medicare plans. 200 the first 2 days. Pretty sure that was the number. I know on the one day, usually the first couple of days there's a backlog, so I'll give you that. In other words, people have things built up, and then they just go out there and rush out there and knock them off real fast. But they did, in fact, nail it, and that telemarketing was the backbone of their marketing strategy. Now, this is a company that is wildly successful with telemarketing as the backbone to their agency. I've worked in several agencies. I was an agent in an agency that the backbone of the agency was telemarketing. I was the general manager of a career agency, which the backbone of the agency was telemarketing. And I've had my own business, which the backbone of the business is telemarketing. I've had several agents start local agents here. Now I have agents all over the country, but specifically in my agency that are just crushing it. Literally crushing it with telemarketing. Now we do pepper in the direct mail, and this is for the face-to-face. So the formula is there. The die is set. Now, some areas of the country, it does not work. Some areas are just better than other areas, and you just have to find out, so to speak. We work in certain areas, and we're very effective. And sometimes, like I've had a girl work in New York City. She was in Long Island, anyhow, one of the boroughs, and she was very effective. Very effective. It's very interesting. You never know how it's going to work out. I would have thought New York would not be effective, but in fact it is. It has been very effective. But then some other areas may not be. Florida's a tough area, right? But it still works. But here's the thing also, you've got to work the leads. So we won't have that conversation now. Look, telemarketing works, but understand an offshore telemarketing works, and it's $3 an hour, okay? It's $3 an hour plus the $89 for the dialer plus $50 for the data. That's it. There's no hidden cost, okay? And we set this up for you, and we set it up for you, and you're off and running. If you make it successful, okay, you can make it successful. You just got to get out there and make it happen. You got to get these leads done, and I suggest you get the leads, and you got to get right on them. And if you're selling over the phone, immediately. Typically, when it's face to face, it's the next day. I can go on and on about this, but here's the most important part, and this is what I want you to take away from this. If you're considering this $3 an hour for a lead system plus these other two fixed costs, that first of all, you can contact me. And just send me an email, nick@medicaremillionaire.com. We'll get you set up. But here's the most important thing. If you do it, you've got to communicate with the telemarketer. You've got to be there every day. They're just like any other employee. They're a salesperson in essence. They're selling appointments. So you can't leave them just to sway in the wind there like a lonely reed with no help. You've got to be there to help them, correct them, give them encouragement, and pump them up each and every day. Then you'll have a successful telemarketer. Then you will build a lead system that can be the backbone of your business. Good luck. Have a great day. Subscribe to Medicare Millionaire. Like our videos. Click that bell so that we can get you our videos when they're published. Have a great day.